to episode 4 of Apres Crafts. My name is Rebecca and I live in Iqaluit, Nunavut, which is in the far north of Canada. And you can find me at osbornefiber.com and I'm on Instagram as RebbyJ. So yeah, it's been a little bit since I did a video. I kind of skipped July. Vacation happens, summer happens, and things are getting away from me a little bit. So summer's awesome, so no complaints. Here I am. I'm back. You might recognize this yarn and this scarf that I'm wearing from episode 2. I finally knit it up into a scarf, giant swatch scarf, or as I like to call it, a swarf. And yeah, I did a whole in-depth color analysis on all the things that the color samples do, just like I said I would, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So you can just go over to my blog at osbornefiber.com to check that out. So this week, what I want to talk about is how Tour de Fleece went. Last time, I introduced you to my little antique wheel and I talked about my plans. And now I want to talk about how it went because it was my first ever Tour de Fleece and it was pretty exciting, different kind of experience. So this is my finished yarn. So what I did, if you remember, is I took 3 braids of, this is quite washed out. This is quite light, but you can see it in the photos that will accompany this post. It's not quite this light. I took 3 braids of a BFL silk that were hand dyed by Wool Gatherings, who's one of my favorite dyers. They all had this sort of blue, or not so much the blue was mostly in that one. They all had this green and yellow in them, and this one had more blue, one had more orange, and one had more kind of pinky red. And so it kind of went cool, warm, and then cooler again because the greens in the last one were cooler. So I stripped them each down 9 times and divided them into 3 bags for 3 plies and did a kind of a staggered gradient thing. So one ply had 4 pieces of the one with blue and one only had 3 pieces of the blue and one only had 2 pieces of the blue, so that the next color started at a different point. And so you can kind of see that it should turn into a subtle multicolored gradient thing. Yeah, so because you can see this one, there's a little bit of the orange starting to come through at the end, and this one has a little bit of the blue left, and this one's kind of in between. So it should knit up as a gradient, and that'll be really fun whenever I get around to knitting with it. Who knows when that'll be. I'll have to see what I want to do with it. It's about 884 yards from my rough estimate. 884 yards of 3 ply. That makes 2,652 yards of singles, and total yardage count, if you include the plying, of about 3,500 yards. So that, for me to do that in 17 total days of spinning was huge because I lost a few days here and there. So it was a big accomplishment. I didn't really knit much at all, but I just had a lot of fun spinning. So what am I going to do with it? I don't know. I had originally thought I would do it as a contrast color in a sweater, with a white or a blue or something. But it turned out so softly spun. The twist angle is quite gentle because I was spinning fast on a 6:1 ratio and I plied it very quickly. So the twist, it's very softly spun and softly plied. So if I were to do a sweater with it, I would definitely want to put it through the wheel again and add some more ply twist. But if I decided to make a shawl out of it, it would be fine. So I don't know. I'll see what I want to do. So what did I focus on for this Tour de Fleece? I really wanted to focus on learning speed. The great thing about Tour de Fleece is you're spinning every day for more or less every day for like 21 days. So you can really see some improvement in yourself. You can focus on something. You can really learn something. And I wanted to work on speed. I was limited by my wheel. Since I was traveling, I had to use my little antique, which only has a 6:1 ratio, if you remember. And this really required I do a short forward draw. So that meant I was going to be inching along. That's why I picked a VFL silk, is because it could live with not a lot of twist in it. But still, I was pretty limited, so I needed to get my actual drafting faster. So what I'm going to show you real quick, I unearthed a previous little bit of video that I did from when I was spinning this, when I was doing some short forward draw. Usually for these videos, I actually speed myself up when I show myself spinning because it's not very fast. So I'm going to show you a not sped up version of my spinning from back then, and then I'm going to show you a clip of myself spinning from the last couple of days of Tour de Fleece, and you can see it was a lot faster. So check it out. So thanks for watching. I was really very excited to see those videos and compare them because I felt like I saw a lot of improvement. And yeah, I should note that I was able to work on speed because I did not work on consistency at the same time. I would really just focus on speed. I had a control card, actually did an entire control spin for this project, which I talked about a little bit last time. I did this guy. Same exact fiber, same wheel, same draft, and I did a whole bunch of samples for it. I talked about that last time, I think, and applied it up on the same wheel. And so I just used the same control card, and this control card is so all over the place that I was like, okay, I'm going to try and match this particular strand and try and get it in between these two because these other strands are all over the place. And this is a sample from the actual Tour de Fleece yarn. So I spun with the control card from a different spin, which I figure is fine, who cares. So yeah, I'm getting a little distracted here. Yeah, so I did not work particularly on consistency, but it was fine. I mean, there's some inconsistent bits, but it was a 3-ply, so it doesn't matter as much. And there's so much going on in terms of color in this yarn that, some inconsistency in the spinning, it's not going to bother me. Because I feel like if I worked on consistency, I wouldn't get any faster. So I kind of had to pick one or the other. So that was fun, and it makes me look forward to applying those skills to this other spin that I started before vacation, just this merino yak. It's like 7.5 ounces, and I'm trying to spin it for a whole lot of fingering weight 2-ply. So it's super fine for me anyway. And I sampled the heck out of this one too. And it's going to take forever no matter what I do, but I'm hoping that I can apply some of my speed, newly won skills and speed to this one so it doesn't take forever and ever. And it makes me think about, I'm thinking about doing Spinzilla. I really didn't think I would do Spinzilla this first year, but it's coming up and it's just a week, so I'm talking to my husband about, can I spare this time and can I do this? And I'm seriously thinking about it. You know, if I can get prepped, if I can get sampled, and if I can get on a team. So yeah, thinking about it. So that was really exciting. It was a real push for me to do that much spinning, to set aside the knitting time and really focus on spinning for the better part of a month. And it was really rewarding to get through a really big spin that was really a part of my stash for a long time. I bought that fiber when I was working at Clover Hill, so 2009, 2010, a long time ago. So very excited that that spin's done, and it's neat to see what the yarn becomes. So for my reflection piece for this month, I've been thinking a lot about when I'm sitting at my wheel, just kind of going at it and, you know, inching along, and, you know, fast or slow, whatever it is I'm doing. One of the amazing things about spinning to me is that I know every inch of this fiber. I have experienced every inch of it multiple times. In the case of a 3-ply, it's like every inch of this yarn has gone through my hands 4 times at least. And that doesn't count skeining it, or, you know, if, you know, for people who are into fiber prep, that multiplies that many, many more times, you know. So this fiber, like, I really know it, and I've spent so much time with it, right? And it makes it so that when I finish something, even if it has lots of imperfections, I just love it, you know, because it's mine. I really made this. And it always makes me think of the fact that, like, God made me. Like, God actually knows me like this, better than this. Like, he actually knows every cell in my body. He knows that, you know, every hair on my head. You know, this isn't just a sentiment. This is actually in the Bible. My favorite verse about this is from Psalm 139, which is all about being known by God. It's all about this, but especially verse 13 of Psalm 139 says, you formed me in my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. Of course, I appreciate the knitting reference, right? It's not actually, the Hebrew word doesn't actually mean knit. There probably wasn't knitting in biblical Israel, but it's this word that means like kind of covering, or like weaving together a covering. So it's really neat that, you know, this is right there in the Bible many times, that God knows you because he made you, like, from the beginning, from the very beginning of your existence. God knew you and he loved you. And, you know, that's awesome. It's also a little scary because God he doesn't just know, like, the good, nice parts of you. It's not just like, oh, big sort of hug. It's God really knows you. He knows every bit of you, the good and the bad and the ugly, and your motivations and what you're thinking from moment to moment. And, like, to be known like that and loved, it's a little scary, right? It can be a little scary. And that's really what it means to walk with God, is to be willing to be known that way. Oh, someone's awake. Daddy's getting her. We'll be okay. A willingness to be known and loved and guided and corrected in a way that's real and intimate and complete. In some ways kind of merciless, but at the same time just totally and completely loving, actually wanting the best for you in a very complete way. So that's something I've been wanting to share for a while, so thank you for letting me share that with you, and thank you for spending this time with me. I should get going because kids and family need me, and it's Saturday and we want to spend some time together. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome month, and hopefully I'll see you again in September. Happy spinning! Bye-bye.